Well, hello there and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Casey and I'm the designer behind the indie sewing pattern company, Pattern Scout. And today, this week actually, I'm gonna do a little bit of a behind the scenes vlog and show you some things that I'm working on. I've got a couple of patterns in the works. First, though, I need to clean up my sewing room. So as you can see behind me, it is pretty much a disaster. So in addition to this being my sewing room, it's also basically my closet. So I'm always coming in here and putting on clothes, taking off clothes, throwing clothes in places that they don't belong. And I've also got a few things set up in here from a couple of videos that I shot. So a couple of projects, and got my wardrobe here when I did my wardrobe video. And yeah, there's just a lot going on in here and I don't really feel like I can be totally productive until I get in here and clean up a little bit. So that's what I'm gonna do now. And then I'll show you some of the things that I'm working on. Okay. Let's do this. Okay, so I got everything pretty much cleaned up for the most part. There's still some things that need to be organized, but I think I've got it cleaned enough that I can actually start getting some work done. And I'm just going to work on a couple of patterns that I've been developing. I originally started out this year thinking that I was gonna release a kind of spring coat pattern, but as time went on, I started realizing like spring is really not that far away. By the time I get this pattern launched, like testing and launching and then give everybody a chance to make it, it's probably gonna be a little too warm in most places for a spring jacket. So I decided to scrap that, save it for later, and now I am working on a blouse and another project that I'm not sure I want to reveal yet. So the blouse pattern will be released in the spring, and then the other pattern that I'm going to release is definitely more geared toward the summer. I'm very excited about that. So I'm still kind of working on variations for both of those. I'm on probably my third or fourth iteration of the blouse right now, and the second and third iteration of this other project that I'm working on. Actually, I've already got them printed out, and I'm just going to tape my pieces together and cut out the pattern pieces. Whenever I'm developing a pattern, I usually kind of go through the process the same way that you would be going through it at home. I start with tiled sheets, printing them out from the beginning, mainly because that is the equipment that I have here. I don't have a big plotter and I don't really want to order prints because it takes too long and I like a little bit faster turnaround. I'll just start out with a draft pattern that I'll put on a tiled sheet setup. I kind of have like a template that I use for the printing templates, and then I'll just kind of go through my iterations like that. One thing that I'm kind of considering actually is changing my process a little bit to include projector sewing. Don't hold me to that yet because I have not even started on that process, but there's a lot that I need to learn about that. But I think that would be a really great thing to learn how to do, and to also offer patterns that have projector files just to save on paper, because I know that when I'm going through this process, I go through a lot of paper and it kind of drives me a little bit crazy. If I do get into that, I'll definitely be doing some content here on the YouTube channel to show you how I'm doing that. So whenever I am developing a new pattern, I use myself as a fit model, obviously. So I'm definitely making the pattern work for me first. And then once I get to a certain point with the pattern that I feel like it works pretty well, and I feel like it would probably work pretty well for most people, then I start working on the grading, and then I take it into testing. So I will bring on a group of usually around 20 to 30 people that test the pattern for me, kind of go through the instructions and let me know not only how the garment fits, but just kind of how the process feels for putting the garment together. Anything that feels a little bit confusing or things that could be constructed a little bit better. I mean, the testers obviously are a wealth of knowledge and have helped me out a lot with every pattern. So that's a really big, important part of the process. But right now I am still in the testing with myself phase and just kind of figuring out how I want the pattern to look and how I want it to be constructed. So right now I'm still working on just the basics of the shape of the garment. And once I get that down and feel like the fit feels right and the overall drape and shape of the garment feels right, then I'll start moving on into more of the nitty-gritty details.
Of that construction adhesive, like physical glue. I would recommend weighting this down after you add.
Oh yeah. It was so, like, every time it rained, I would just be like, oh God, I mean, I would just have so much anxiety. I didn't want to open the basement door because I just knew it was going to be a disaster. So stressful. Right. Yeah. Oh, really? So I just finished the muslin for the blouse pattern that I'm working on. I didn't get around to the muslin for the other pattern, but I'll work on that tomorrow. I do have everything prepped and ready to go for that. But it's getting a little bit late. It's probably after 5, I think. And I'm kind of tired of being in here sewing. So doing this muslin, I did kind of find a few things that I actually wanted to update about the pattern. So I'm gonna work on that tonight. I'll probably just sit and watch some TV and make a few changes to the pattern and kind of get that prepped to do another muslin either tomorrow or later this week.
That when a man bottles.
I'll watch this. She's pretty funny. I like her. Okay, so today is Tuesday and I spent a little time last night working on the pattern, making a few adjustments, and instead of printing it out all over again and taping the pieces together and like wasting the paper, I'm actually just gonna make the adjustments to the pattern pieces and continue on making muslins. I kind of ran out of the fabric that I was using to make a muslin. It's some cheap fabric that I bought forever ago, but I have some nicer fabric, like some remnants of some nicer fabric that I think I'm just gonna go ahead and use to make a wearable muslin. Also, I'm kind of ready to just make one that looks more finished and nice. So yeah, I feel pretty confident in a couple of the adjustments that I made that'll make it feel and fit a little bit better. So I'm just gonna move forward with that and continue working on muslins today. I've got the main adjustments made to this sleeve piece. It looks a little bit Frankensteined, but I'll just fill in all of this with some scrap fabric and it'll be my new sleeve. Okay, so it is the next day and I finally finished this muslin for one of the patterns that I'm working on, just kind of a loose and flowy peasant top. I still have some details that I want to work out, but this is pretty close to the shape that I want for this pattern. And I actually decided to do this pattern because this is actually a pattern that I've been wanting to do for a long time and I've kind of been loosely working on it for a while. I actually went into a store recently, well, a few months ago, and tried on a peasant blouse and really just loved the look of it. And so it really reignited my desire to work on this pattern. and have this as a release for spring. So yeah, this is gonna be something that I'm hoping to get out pretty soon, hopefully within the next month. So stay tuned for that. I need to do a few other little detail things, figure out how I want to do the sleeves, that kind of thing, figure out any sort of variations that I would want for this pattern. Usually when I'm developing a new pattern, I will kind of start with one idea, and then as things are developing, I'll think, oh, this could also be this other thing. So right now, I'm thinking this will be just a single option pattern with just a blouse. I think it'd be really easy to make it into a dress, but I don't think, I mean, basically it would just be big rectangles, so I'm not going to pattern that. But yeah, I think this turned out super cute. Happy with it. Okay, so now that I have the pattern to a point that I'm a little bit more happy with the shape and the drape and the way that it feels when I'm wearing it, now I can kind of start moving into working on like the final pattern development, basically. So this is usually the stage where I will start grading. Grading used to take me a really long time to do. Like, it would take me like a week or two because I would just be second guessing everything. But the more that I do this and the more that I've learned, I have gotten a lot more comfortable with that process. And so grading now takes me probably, I don't know, a few days to a week. Once I get the grading done, I'll start working on annotating the pattern. So putting all of the little notches and annotations and just all of the information about the pattern on the pattern pieces. Then I'll start working on the illustrations and start plugging all of that into the instructions. And then once I have all the instructions and the illustrations kind of squared away, the illustrations usually take me the longest. I have kind of gotten a process down now that I'm really comfortable with. And once I get to this stage where I'm at right now, I actually get really excited. So like today I'm in a really good mood because I feel like I've made a little bit of progress on this pattern and I can really like hit the pavement and just go at it and really wrap this thing up and get it ready for testing. So yeah, I'm very excited and very happy with the progress so far. And I do have the other pattern that I want to work on. I might work on that later today, or I might just work on this later today. I have an appointment in a little bit, actually. Oh my gosh, I have to leave like right now. So I'm gonna go to that appointment. When I get back later today, I might work on the pattern a little bit, but I might also work on this other pattern that I haven't had a chance to muslin yet. And just kind of, I just wanna see how that one's gonna turn out. So anyway, I'm excited. This is good, yay. Okay, it is now Saturday and I have spent most of the morning, well, I say most of the morning, I actually went and worked out this morning. So I did get my day off to a little bit of a late start, but I've spent most of this morning working on the video that you're watching right now. I've mentioned this before in previous vlogs, but I've been trying to get on a more consistent schedule for posting, and lately that has meant posting on Saturdays. That seems to be the easiest day for me to post. So yeah, I'm gonna finish doing that today. I'm really pleased with how this week went. Sometimes it takes me a little bit of time in the beginning of a year to really get my mojo going for developing new patterns. This week definitely helped a lot. I feel really positive about the direction of the patterns that I'm working on right now, and I can't wait to share more with you guys very soon. So anyway, if you've made it this far, thanks for coming along on this vlog and kind of getting a peek into my day-to-day workflow. And I think that is all I have for you today. So I will see you in the next video. Bye.